budget on March the 3rd is one of the most important moments in Rishi Sunak's career so far. He faces a welter of competing pressures as he seeks to shape the economic recovery from a year of COVID restrictions and define his ideology as a Conservative Chancellor. On the one hand, he wants to build a reputation as a prudent marshal of the public finances. On the other hand, he faces a wealth of requests from business groups and many Tory MPs for a generous stimulus package.
The economy is going to get worse before it gets better.
The question of how to pay for the exorbitant cost of COVID also rears its head. Trade associations, Conservative MPs, and even former Prime Minister David Cameron have not been shy in telling Mr Sunak that now is not the time to raise taxes.
Many people are losing their jobs. Businesses are struggling, our public finances have been badly damaged and will need repair.
There have been few winners from this virus who can be targeted with impunity. Even Labour, usually keen for the burden to fall on big business, has warned against whacking firms with higher levies right now. We may see the Chancellor choose to treat the cost of the pandemic like a wartime loan, which can be paid off over decades. It's also worth pointing out that the bar for sounding tough fiscally is actually quite low at the moment. One economist I spoke to this week believes the Chancellor may be able to get away with tough rhetoric on the public finances without actually having to implement painful measures that would upset the public.
So I am committing myself to a single priority: to create, support and extend opportunity to as many people as I can.
The Conservatives have always styled themselves as the party of sound fiscal management and attacked Labour for being the big spenders. But having had to spend the many billions of pounds he has, and winning favour with voters for it, Sunak now needs to find ways to differentiate himself from the opposition.
I can't promise that everyone can go back to the job that they used to have.
A key priority for the Chancellor in this budget is work. Unemployment has been rising, and the threat of myriad further redundancies loom when the furlough scheme eventually ends. This, the Chancellor hopes, will be remembered as a jobs, jobs, jobs budget as he sets out his plan to boost employment. Sunak has a lot to lose if he gets it wrong. Right now, the bookies put him as the odds-on favourite to be the UK's next Prime Minister. He's also banking sky-high ratings among the Tory grassroots. A recent Conservative Home Cabinet League table records a stratospheric 86% net satisfaction rate for the Chancellor. He's second in the rankings only to Liz Truss. But that could all change if the budget does not land well.
The road ahead will be tough. Now it is time for responsible management of our economy, taking the difficult but right long-term decisions for our country.
The good news for Rishi Sunak is that there's still time to bolster the government's levelling up agenda with significant cash allocated for infrastructure investment. It's these spending proposals that help sweeten the pill of any punitive measures and, he hopes, will keep voters and fractious Tory backbenchers on side. We must also be aware that what we hear in this budget may not be the end of the story. Since it's difficult for Treasury officials to make too many planning assumptions while the economy is still in the grip of COVID, I'm told by Whitehall sources that we may yet see a second budget in the autumn. Just a year in as Chancellor and facing an unprecedented economic crisis, the stakes are high for Rishi Sunak. This will be a career-defining moment. As well as catalysing the economic recovery now, he will need to keep a firm eye on the 2024 election. His aim by then will be to show that he's a true Conservative Chancellor, promoting lower taxes and maintaining a firm grip on the public finances. Whether it's families, business or MPs, all eyes are on the Chancellor.